The air crackled, heavy with premonition. I, Jeremiah, knew that something monumental was about to unfold. My heart, a leaden weight in my chest, echoed the city's impending doom. The skyline, once a symbol of hope, now seemed like a harbinger of despair. God's words, a searing brand on my soul, announced Jerusalem's fall. Each prayer I uttered felt like a plea against the inevitable. I, a humble man, chosen to bear this terrible news, walking alone, the weight of destiny pressed heavily on my shoulders. I never asked for this mantle, this burden of foresight. The visions of destruction haunted my every waking moment, yet here I stand, the reluctant prophet, drowning in the sorrow of a city about to die. The desolate landscape mirrored the desolation in my heart. The city, oblivious, danced on the precipice of oblivion. Their joy, a stark contrast to the doom I foresaw. Laughter echoed through the market square, a jarring counterpoint to the lament in my heart. Children played, unaware of the shadow looming over their future, their ignorance a cruel shield against the truth I carried. My warnings fell on deaf ears, my voice lost in the cacophony of daily life. My stomach churned, a storm brewing within. The physical pain mirrored the emotional turmoil I felt. How could they not see? How could they ignore the sign so blatantly obvious to me? How could they not feel the earth trembling beneath their feet? The very ground they stood on was a testament to the prophecy I bore. My voice, hoarse from repeating God's warnings, echoed in the empty streets. The silence of the city was deafening, a stark contrast to the urgency of my message. "Repent, turn from your wicked ways," I cried, my pleas lost in the cacophony of their disbelief. The more I shouted, the more they ignored, their hearts hardened against the truth. Stones, sharp and unforgiving, rained down as my words fell on deaf ears, each stone a testament to their refusal to listen, their rejection of salvation. They called me mad, a false prophet, a traitor. Their laughter echoed louder than my cries, a cruel symphony of scorn. Their scorn stung, each insult a fresh wound on my weary soul. Yet I bore it all, for the truth was a burden I could not cast aside. Yet I persisted, driven by the fire of truth. The flame within me burned brighter with each passing day, undeterred by their rejection. Each day I climbed the city walls, my voice a lone beacon against the gathering storm. From that high place I could see the city in its entirety, a city blind to its impending doom. The weight of their indifference pressed down, heavy and suffocating. It was a burden that grew with each passing moment, yet I could not abandon my mission. They mocked, they jeered, they turned away from the truth that stared them in the face. Their eyes were open, but their souls were closed, locked away from the light of understanding. Then it began. The ground trembled, a low rumble that grew louder and more menacing with each passing second. A monstrous groan rising from the earth's belly, as if the planet itself was crying out in agony. The Babylonians, their armies a tide of iron and fire, surged through the city gates, their war cries echoing through the streets. The sky, once a vibrant blue, was choked with smoke, turning day into night. The air thick with the stench of blood and fear. A suffocating reminder of the chaos that had engulfed us. Jerusalem, once proud and eternal, was now an inferno of despair, its glory reduced to ashes. Walls crumbled, buildings toppled, and the screams of my people pierced my heart, each cry a dagger to my soul. Each fallen stone, each muffled cry was a testament to their folly, a stark reminder of the warnings they had ignored, a painful echo of my unheeded warnings reverberating through the desolate ruins. My city, my home, lay in ruins, a shattered monument to their arrogance, a graveyard of dreams and hopes. Grief, a suffocating shroud, enveloped me completely. I wandered through the ashes of Jerusalem, my heart a hollow shell, empty and lost. Yet amidst the desolation a spark flickered, a sign of life. A promise whispered on the wind, faint but clear. For God, in his infinite mercy, had not forsaken his people even in these dark times. He spoke of restoration, of a new covenant, of a future where Jerusalem would rise again, more magnificent than before. This promise, a lifeline in the sea of my despair, fueled a flicker of hope in the desolate landscape of my heart. We, the remnant, the scattered seeds of Israel, would rise from the ashes. We would rebuild, we would return.